everybody. So today we're going to talk about preparing when you get 5 minutes to do section B of your listening test. That's paper 3. This is just the case that every time when you are doing part B, they will give you 5 minutes.
Before the recording is played, you will have 5 minutes to study the question-answer book and the data file.
And then they're going to play a recording, which you need to fill in a sheet like this one that we have right here. So when it comes to this sheet, well, you should look at it, try to figure out. This is the 2013 B1, by the way. You should try to see, okay, what are they going to talk about? Okay, but that doesn't take 5 minutes. What you should do is try to figure out which of these pages help which task. And that's actually very easy to do. And we're going to do that today. I will show you. We're going to have 5 minutes. I'm going to time myself. And this will help you a lot. Okay? So let's go ahead and pretend that we were just told you have 5 minutes. So if you go after the listening note sheet, you're going to see this page. It's going to be something that's going to give you it's going to tell you your 3 tasks. So over here you see you have task 5, task 6, and task 7. So I'm just going to write 5. That's the first one. It's always the first one. 6. And 7. It's a lot easier if you're using a pencil. Let's look at this. We're going to post a fun holiday fact file at the beginning of the next issue. Can you finish the rest of the information in the fact file? Look at your notes from the Travel Report podcast. All right, so up here, the notes from the Travel Report show. That's going to be the podcast. So what we should do is put a 5 right here. Statistics from the World Travel Organization. Travel statistics from the World Travel Organization. It's better to have it on this side so you can see which page it's on. The press conference excerpt from the International Airport Committee. The press conference excerpt from the International Airport Committee. And the Travel Bloggers webpage. Okay, so they pretty clear on here. They don't really try to confuse you on which page they belong to, but we know that if we're doing this, for task 5, you're going to use these 5 pages. So then we can actually come through now and highlight those. Like here we can come put a 5 up here. And then page 5, travel statistics. The press conference and Travel Bloggers webpage, which are on the same one. There we go. So again, this will help us later when we're doing our writing to know where the information is. Then task 6. We have an advertisement for the next issue, but there's some problems with it. Please email him and tell him it needs to change. Look at the minutes from the last sales meeting. Okay. The minutes from the last sales meeting. And the copy of the advertisement. Okay. That's going to be bottom one. Again, this is taking me more time doing it on a computer. It will be easier for you when you're doing it on a piece of paper. 6. And then we've got a 6 right here. If you don't finish, let's say that, like right now, we have 30 seconds left over. So here, I'm going to just pause it right here. Let's say that you're out of time. Okay, well then you can still go to this section. You would fill in the information. And then after that, you can complete what we're doing right here, in which you're just going to find the parts where you're going to have the 7 for task 7. That last one is for task 6. And this one's for task 7. Trust me, this is going to help you be more organized, and you will say the right information, because that's the biggest mistake most students make. They write down the wrong information, or they're scared because they see so much in the data file. So here, we're going to continue here. So here for our 7, you want to include a short feature article to introduce unusual hotels and encourage people to try them. Please, can you write the article and try to include the following? Okay, so this is what's going to be in your writing. And then this is going to be where the data file, the information is. So web page for the Beacon Hotel. The travel bloggers webpage. Oh, we ran out of time. So I would go ahead and do the listening right now, and then I would come back after the listening. But again, this is slower because I'm talking to you right now and I'm using a computer. You can do this in 5 minutes pretty comfortably, especially after you practice it a couple times, because every single part B, B1, B2 has the same format where they're going to have task 6 or task 1, 2, and 3. Here it's going to be 5, 6, 7 because 1 to 4 was already in task A. So here, let's go ahead and finish. So we already did the web page, the travel bloggers web page. Got that one. Also found some travel adverts that might help. Okay, so they changed the wording around slightly. So instead of adverts, it's advertisements. You see right here. And remember to look at your notes from the Travel Report podcast too. So that's going to be the information here that you fill in when we're doing the listening. All right, so go up here. Again, we're organizing this. We're making it very clear so that when we go do our writing, we know where all of the information is. 7, advertisements and web page for the Beacon Hotel. So here is the advertisement, or the advert, and the web page for the Beacon Hotel. and the travel bloggers webpage. All right. So now we've got it nice and organized. So when we're doing right up here, task B1, we know that it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. When we do task 6, it's going to have 1, 2 pages. And when we do task 7, it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages to use. And there's a few other things that we need to go in and make sure we got some key points that we need to highlight. So let's read these again, because the instructions are the most important part. If you make a mistake there, you're not going to do well. So spend extra time on the instructions. Okay, we're going to post a fun holiday fact file at the beginning of the next issue. Can you finish the rest of the information in the fact file? Look at your notes from the Travel Report podcast. We're doing this one right here, task 5. The statistics from the World Travel Organization, the press conference excerpt from the International Airport Committee, and the Travel Bloggers webpage. So that's where you get it. And then here's the important thing. Remember to give each section a suitable heading. So that's going to be this part, this part, this part. We need a heading. And we know that a heading should be short and simple. So you can even make yourself a little note here if you want, just to remind yourself that what they're looking for is a heading. If you want. You don't have to, though. It's just to remind you later, at least highlight it in this section right here. You also need a heading here and here. You would probably want to erase it later where you wrote heading, just so that they don't confuse them. You don't want the graders to wonder, oh, is that part of the heading? So it's just something you can put there to remind you that that's what it's looking for. But then you would probably want to erase it or mark it out because that's just a note you made. Okay, for task 6, let's see. Kim Ross at the Plaza Hotel has sent us an advertisement to put in the next issue, but there are some problems with it. Please email him and tell him what needs to change in the advertisement. Okay, that's an important part. What he needs to change. Look at the minutes. Okay, those are the 2 places we said before. Look at the minutes and a copy of the advertisement. They made some notes on it. Okay. Reminds him about the submission deadline and the first payment date. That's very important. So here now we can go where it says for task 6. Okay, yeah, we're on the right page. Right here it said, when's the deadline? When is it due by? Here we see the word deadline. Okay. The deadline is here. That's what you need. And then they said, double check the first payment date. It's exactly what they asked for, the first payment date. So if we go look around, do you see where it says payment date? Going to be this section right here. The payment for all advertisements should be 50% 1 week before the issue was published. Okay. And the remaining 50% afterward. So should you include this part, the remaining 50% afterward? No. It's just the first payment. Now they used the grammar here in the past tense. It was agreed. Maybe you're going to have to change the grammar around to say that the first payment should be due 1 week before it is published. Like here they say was published, but in your writing you would probably change the grammar around. And that's one thing that they check. That's an important part of this, to see that you can read something and then put it into an appropriate letter or email like we have right here. So right here, you would probably change the tense. That's very important, the grammar. They want to see that. If you just copy this sentence, it was agreed that the payment for advertisement should be 50% 1 week before the issue is published, then you do not get full credit. If you could put this in the future tense, like it is agreed that it is agreed that 50% of the payment is due 1 week before it's published. Good. We changed it. All right. So that's going to be for task 6. And then for task 7, you want to include a short feature article. Okay, so that's a text type. Up here, it was an email. Here, this is a feature article. We would know that that's to inform, to let people get an introduction. And this is going to be the key points right here. Suitable title. Well, the title should be short and simple, direct. An interesting opening and closing. Well, a good opening is usually going to be an interesting opening will be if you ask a question. And for this one, it might be, have you ever stayed in an ice hotel? Or, what's the strangest hotel you've ever stayed in? Or, would you stay in a jail overnight? Or would you like, instead of a hotel, would you like to stay in jail? Yeah, you can brainstorm on that. That might be something, but it's good to have a question at the beginning, and then maybe you can come back to that for the closing. And then a description of the 3 types that are going to be in your reading. Okay, so then this tells us where. All right, so now we're all organized. I suggest you do this whenever you're doing listening part B. It is very important to organize, just like if you're doing paper 2, you're writing, you need to brainstorm, maybe do a mind map. This one, you need to go, as we always say, after the note taking, which you have, the first page right here, where they explain what to do. And everyone I've seen, it's going to be the first task, task 5, task 5. And then task 6, task 6. And then task 7, task 7. The same in B1, B2. This will help you be organized. This is helping the biggest weakness that most students make. Hope this has helped. Let me know if you have any questions, and hope to see you again.